Have you ever heard someone say, just eat oatmeal every morning and you'll be healthy, live long, and have fewer heart problems? And you believed that, which is absolutely right. Because, in fact, oatmeal is one of the top grains recommended by the American Heart Association, AHA, due to its ability to lower bad cholesterol, stabilize blood sugar, and nourish the digestive system. But what if you eat oatmeal every morning but still feel tired, bloated, your joints still ache, and your hands and feet tremble in the middle of the day? You're not imagining things. Many older adults in the US are experiencing this situation, and they all have one thing in common. They're eating oatmeal in a way that their body after 60 simply cannot accept. Sounds strange, right? A super healthy food like oatmeal, yet it can cause digestive upset, weight gain, and even increased joint inflammation. In reality, oatmeal is only truly beneficial when used correctly. And unfortunately, most people make very common mistakes that few notice. Are you choosing apple cinnamon or sweet berry flavored oatmeal? Do you cook it with plain water and think that's good enough? Or are you eating a whole bowl of oatmeal without realizing it contains over 300 calories and 50 kilos of carbohydrates? If any of those questions made you nod, then don't look away from today's content, because right now we're going to explore 7 common mistakes older adults make when consuming oatmeal. And more importantly, how to fix them quickly, simply, and effectively. Ready? A small change in your breakfast routine can be the start of a lighter, healthier body and steadier feet every day. Let's begin. Mistake number 1, choosing sugary and flavored instant oatmeal. It sounds harmless, but this is the first and most common mistake many older adults make every morning. Those convenient and delicious instant oatmeal packets with apple cinnamon, maple, or strawberry cream flavors, though appealing, hide many health risks. Have you ever picked up an instant oatmeal packet and seen apple cinnamon or maple and brown sugar on it? These aren't just flavor names, they're signs that each small packet often contains 8 to 12 grams of added sugar. For an older adult, this amount is equivalent to half of the daily sugar limit recommended by the American Heart Association. The problem is, refined sugar combined with finely milled oatmeal will cause blood sugar to spike very quickly, then drop just as fast. You might feel full at first, but after just 1 to 2 hours, you'll be hungry again, even tired and shaky. For older adults managing diabetes or arthritis, this situation will make everything harder to control. Worse, a study from Harvard shows that convenient cereal products with flavorings often come with artificial colors, flavor enhancers, and synthetic aromas, factors that can promote inflammatory responses in sensitive individuals, such as those with rheumatoid arthritis or metabolic diseases. Therefore, one of the first solutions to protect your blood sugar health, especially in the morning, is to say goodbye to pre-packaged sweetened oatmeal varieties. These pre-flavored oatmeal packets like maple and brown sugar or apple cinnamon, while convenient and tasty, often contain added refined sugar and artificial flavors, ingredients that are not very friendly to people over 60, especially when blood sugar control or poor digestion is a concern. Instead, prioritize plain, whole oat varieties such as rolled oats or steel-cut oats. These are the closest to their natural form, retaining their full amount of soluble fiber, which helps slow down digestion, stabilize blood sugar, and nourish the gut microbiome. More importantly, they contain no added sugar, so you can fully control the flavor yourself. If you still want a pleasantly sweet oatmeal without a sudden blood sugar spike, you can create a natural and healthier sweetness using very familiar ingredients. A little ground cinnamon not only provides a warm aroma but also helps regulate blood sugar. Diced fresh apples or sliced ripe bananas not only add natural sweetness but also provide essential fiber and nutrients. If you want to add a little warmth to your morning, 1/2 teaspoon of raw honey is also an acceptable option, as long as you don't have diabetes and use it in moderation. By making such small adjustments, you can transform a simple oatmeal dish into a light, easy-to-digest breakfast that's good for blood sugar and still delicious, a warm and healthy start to your day. A small tip: If you're used to apple cinnamon flavored oatmeal packets, try recreating a natural version by cooking rolled oats with a little fresh apple juice, sprinkling with extra cinnamon, and adding baked apple slices. It's guaranteed to be not only tastier, but also help you avoid early hunger and sudden blood sugar spikes. And here's the important part: results don't happen overnight. But after just 5 or 7 days of this change, many people have noticed feeling lighter, their stomachs more comfortable, and fewer sugar cravings, a sign that your body is slowly rebalancing. What type of oatmeal have you used for breakfast? Is instant oats still in your pantry? Try making a change for a week, and don't forget to share your experience. Next, let's move on to mistake number 2, a seemingly harmless mistake that actually strips your oatmeal breakfast of its ability to protect muscles and keep blood sugar stable. Are you ready? Mistake number 2, not adding a source of protein or healthy fats. Many older adults still believe that just a bowl of oatmeal cooked with water is enough for a healthy breakfast. But what's the reality? It's one of the easiest misunderstandings to make, and it's also why a seemingly nutritious breakfast becomes unbalanced. Oatmeal itself is a carbohydrate-rich grain, but if it only contains carbs without accompanying protein or healthy fats, then after a few hours, blood sugar levels will drop rapidly, making you feel tired, shaky, and hungry again quickly. It feels like you've just climbed a steep hill and then free-fallen. Not at all pleasant, especially for someone managing diabetes or heart problems. A study from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that a breakfast rich in carbs but lacking protein causes insulin to spike suddenly, leading to unstable blood sugar for the rest of the morning. This not only causes hunger, but also affects memory, concentration, and alertness, things older adults greatly need to maintain their quality of life. So what's the solution here? Add a source of protein or healthy fat to your bowl of oatmeal. Practical and easy to apply suggestions: 1 tablespoon of unsweetened almond or peanut butter. A small amount provides protein, unsaturated fats, and vitamin E, good for heart health and the immune system. 1 hard-boiled egg, easy to combine and makes breakfast more substantial, extending feelings of fullness. Unsweetened Greek yogurt, delicious added to hot oatmeal or as a topping with cold overnight oats. 1 scoop of vanilla whey isolate. If you're familiar with protein powder, just stir it into your oatmeal after cooking to significantly boost protein content while maintaining an easy-to-eat flavor. A simple tip is to build your oatmeal meal according to the 3-in-1 principle: carbohydrates, oatmeal, protein, eggs, yogurt, whey, and healthy fats, nut butter, chia seeds, flax seeds. This combination not only helps stabilize blood sugar, but also maintains muscle mass, especially important after age 60, when natural muscle loss occurs silently every year. Have you ever eaten oatmeal with just water and felt hungry quickly, or felt dizzy before noon? If so, then it's very likely you're lacking protein in your breakfast. Try adding a small item like almond butter or a hard-boiled egg. Just a small change can surprisingly effective. Not stopping there, the next mistake might be subtly preventing your body from absorbing essential minerals from oatmeal, even if you eat it very regularly every day. Let's explore it now in mistake number 3, and you'll understand why proper oatmeal soaking is so important. Mistake number 3, skipping the soaking step or not cooking it thoroughly enough. Have you ever thought that the rawer the oatmeal, the more nutrients it retains? Many older adults are now switching to overnight oats, cold-soaked oatmeal, or worse, sprinkling raw oats on yogurt and eating them immediately. While it sounds convenient and time-saving, it's a double-edged sword for bone and joint health and the digestive system. The problem lies with a substance called phytic acid, also known as a mineral blocker. In raw oatmeal, phytic acid exists at high levels. It binds tightly to important minerals like zinc, iron, and calcium, making them unavailable for the body to absorb, especially in older adults, whose digestive systems and gut enzymes naturally weaken over time. The result? You eat it regularly every morning, but still experience mild anemia, silent osteoporosis progression, and persistent fatigue. A study from Tufts University showed that When oatmeal is soaked for at least 6 hours with yogurt kefir, the activity of the enzyme phytase breaks down most of the phytic acid, increasing the absorption of iron and calcium by up to 30–40%. And if you cook oatmeal at a low temperature for 10–15 minutes with rolled oats, or 25–30 minutes with steel-cut oats, you'll achieve similar effectiveness. So what's the optimal method? Two extremely effective solutions, depending on your preference. Overnight oats. Just mix 1/2 cup of rolled oats with 1 cup of unsweetened milk or kefir yogurt in a glass jar and let it sit overnight. The next morning, add fruit and nuts for a complete and easy-to-digest breakfast. Thorough cooking over low heat. If you prefer hot oatmeal, rolled oats should be cooked for 10–12 minutes over low heat until soft and creamy. For steel-cut oats, cook for at least 25 minutes to break down phytic acid and soften the fiber. A small but important note, don't rush to boil it immediately or cook it too quickly in the microwave for 1 to 2 minutes. While convenient, this method doesn't provide enough time to reduce phytic acid, and you might be wasting your efforts at eating healthy every morning. And after eating correctly, it's about eating enough. But how much is enough? Some people eat half a bowl, others a full one. So, what's a reasonable serving for someone over 60? That brings us to mistake number 4, one many people are quietly making every day. Mistake number 4, eating portions that are too large. Have you ever heard an older person say, "Oatmeal is great, I eat a big bowl in the morning to really fill up and avoid snacking later"? Sounds logical, right? But if you're scooping a full bowl or using 1 cup of dry oats, over 80 GE in the morning, congratulations, you've just consumed nearly 300 calories and 53 grams of carbohydrates in one dish, and that's not even counting toppings like bananas, honey, raisins, or nut butter. For someone who is still regularly active, gardening, playing golf, or brisk walking, this amount can be easily burned off. But for most people aged 60 and above, activity levels are much lower. The consequence is excess energy, increased belly fat, and, if sustained long-term, elevated blood fats, triglycerides. More significantly, the post-meal blood sugar spikes from overly large portions also contribute to silent inflammation and negatively impact the small blood vessels supplying the brain and heart. Therefore, in a study on elderly nutrition at the Mayo Clinic, experts recommended, for individuals aged 60 and over, the ideal oatmeal serving size should be limited to approximately 1/3 to 1/2 cup of dry oats, 30 to 45 g, depending on activity level. You can imagine it simply, just 2 to 3 full tablespoons of dry oats are enough to form the base of your breakfast. For the rest, you can boost the nutritional value without increasing carbohydrate intake by adding toppings like 1 hard-boiled egg, complete protein, 1 tablespoon of almond butter, healthy fats and protein, 3 tablespoons of Greek yogurt, calcium plus probiotics, or a small handful of berries, rich in antioxidants. A moderate serving will make your breakfast lighter, keep you full longer, prevent post-meal drowsiness, and stabilize blood sugar for 3 to 4 hours, all crucial for maintaining energy and preventing dizziness and hand tremors in older adults. This is also why many people feel very healthy when they first start eating oatmeal, but after just a few weeks they notice belly fat, fatigue, or getting hungry too quickly. It turns out it's not because oatmeal isn't good, but because they're eating the wrong amount and not combining the right nutrients. Next, once you're eating the right type and the right amount, there's another equally important factor: water. Yes, many people don't pay attention to drinking enough water when consuming oatmeal, yet this can determine the smoothness of your entire digestive system. Let's continue with mistake number 5, lack of accompanying water. If you've ever eaten oatmeal and then felt bloated, uncomfortable, or had difficulty with bowel movements that day, it's very likely the cause wasn't the oatmeal itself, but the glass of water you forgot to drink with it. Oatmeal, especially rolled oats or steel-cut oats, contains a valuable soluble fiber called beta-glucan. This is why oatmeal is renowned for its ability to lower bad cholesterol, slow sugar absorption, and support heart health. However, beta-glucan is extremely water absorbent. Without enough water, it will swell up in the small intestine, slowing down food digestion and causing feelings of fullness, constipation, or even dull abdominal pain. This situation is even more likely to occur in older adults whose bowel motility is slower and whose sensation of thirst is often not as clear as when they were younger. If you're also taking iron supplements, antacids, or have a history of constipation due to inactivity, water-deficient oatmeal will only make things worse. So what's the solution to help your oatmeal breakfast be effective without causing bloating or discomfort? Actually, the answer is very simple. Drink enough water with it. Immediately after eating oatmeal, drink a glass of warm water, about 8.5 ounces, 250 milliliters, equivalent to a medium-sized paper cup. This amount of water will help the fiber in the oatmeal expand evenly and move easily through the digestive tract, thereby supporting smoother digestion, especially for older adults. If you're having overnight oats, meaning oatmeal that has been softened overnight in milk, yogurt, or kefir, the liquid from these ingredients has already helped facilitate digestion to some extent. However, it's still advisable to drink an additional glass of plain water after the meal to ensure your intestines have the necessary lubrication. If you combine oatmeal with dried fruits like raisins, apricots, or dried apples, which tend to absorb water in the intestines during digestion, it's even more important to pay attention. Another glass of water within 1 hour after your meal will help prevent intestinal dryness and avoid feelings of bloating or constipation. It's no coincidence that digestive experts at Harvard Medical School once emphasized, fiber only has a laxative effect when accompanied by sufficient water. Otherwise, fiber can slow down bowel motility and cause blockages, especially in older adults. Therefore, a little attention to the amount of accompanying water can make a big difference for digestive health, making your oatmeal breakfast not only nutritious, but also genuinely light and comfortable. Next, there's a common misconception that few realize, especially for those who experience abdominal pain or prolonged diarrhea when eating oatmeal. Not all types are gluten-free. Let's move on to mistake number 6, assuming all oatmeal is gluten-free. Many older adults firmly believe one thing: oatmeal is a healthy, natural food that is completely gluten-free. This sounds logical because, in theory, oatmeal is indeed a grain that doesn't contain gluten, like wheat, barley, or rye. But if everything ended with theory, there wouldn't be so many cases of older adults feeling bloated, experiencing intestinal cramps, mild diarrhea, or subtle discomfort all day long after eating oatmeal, without ever suspecting their beloved morning oatmeal was the culprit. The reality is, many types of oatmeal on the market, from rolled and steel cut to instant varieties, are cross-contaminated with gluten during cultivation, harvesting, and packaging. This is because they are processed on the same equipment as wheat or other gluten-containing products. Even a small amount of residual gluten, even just a few parts per million, can be enough to trigger a reaction in sensitive individuals. For example, individuals with celiac disease whose immune systems overreact and attack the lining of the small intestine every time gluten enters the body. Or those living with irritable bowel syndrome, IBS, chronic inflammatory bowel disease, or non-celiac gluten sensitivity. These are non-allergic reactions, but still cause prolonged inflammation and disrupt the digestive system. Additionally, older adults with weakened intestinal lining or reduced digestive enzyme secretion are more susceptible to damage when exposed to small amounts of cross-contaminated gluten from unverified oatmeal products. In these groups, a seemingly harmless bowl of oatmeal can lead to a range of uncomfortable symptoms, from indigestion, bloating, diarrhea, gas, to prolonged mild inflammation in the small intestine. Even more concerning is the reduced ability to absorb essential micronutrients like iron, calcium, and vitamin B12, quietly increasing the risk of malnutrition. A critical concern for those over 60 who are already prone to muscle loss and bone density decline. So how can oatmeal truly be a healthy food in the true sense? The key principle: don't just look at the ingredients. Read the product label carefully. Even popular oatmeal brands that seem natural might be produced on shared lines with wheat or barley, making gluten contamination a real risk. To be safe, choose products certified gluten-free, meaning they have been independently tested to ensure no gluten impurities throughout the production chain. In the US, some brands recommended by many nutritionists and gastroenterologists include Bob's Red Mill, Gluten-Free Oats Series, GF Harvest, Purely Elizabeth Nature's Path, Organic, Gluten-Free line. These are all reputable brands that have undergone rigorous testing to serve individuals with sensitive small intestines or those managing gluten-related digestive conditions. If you've ever felt strange after an oatmeal meal, the culprit might not have been the oatmeal itself, but rather the production and storage practices of the brand you're using. So sometimes simply changing brands can be enough to transform a seemingly problematic food into a truly safe digestive aid. Another small tip: if you're reintroducing oatmeal after digestive issues, start with a very small amount, about 2 tablespoons of dry oats, and monitor your body's reaction for 2 to 3 hours. If you feel fine, you can gradually increase the amount. Finally, remember that at age 60 and above, the intestinal lining becomes more sensitive and digestive and absorption capabilities decline. Even a small factor like unverified gluten can cause prolonged discomfort if overlooked. Have you ever experienced bloating or digestive upset after a seemingly healthy oatmeal meal? Have you ever suspected gluten in your chosen oatmeal? If you're using conventional oatmeal and haven't checked for gluten-free labels, now might be a good time to try switching to a safer version for your digestive system, especially if you or a loved one has a history of small intestine issues, IBS, or poor nutrient absorption. We've just uncovered a very common yet risky misconception about oatmeal and gluten, something that, if not carefully considered, can cause an older person's small intestine to struggle with the consequences. But even after choosing the right type of oatmeal, preparing it carefully, and eating it correctly, there's still a silent enemy that many people completely overlook, and that's storage. It might seem minor, but if oatmeal becomes damaged, rancid, or absorbs moisture, it not only tastes bad, but can also cause digestive discomfort, especially in older adults who are already sensitive. And this is precisely mistake number 7. Improper oatmeal storage leads to nutrient loss, oil oxidation, and can cause bloating and indigestion. Let's delve deeper into why this seemingly small mistake can subtly affect long-term health. At age 60 and above, the body no longer has enough resilience to tolerate minor dietary mistakes. A spoonful of rancid oatmeal might not cause anything serious in a young person. But for older adults, whose digestive systems are weaker, digestive enzymes are reduced, and metabolic rates are slower, poorly stored oatmeal can trigger a cascade of uncomfortable reactions, from gas and bloating to nausea and even persistent mild diarrhea. Where does the cause lie? Oatmeal, especially less refined varieties like rolled oats or steel cut, contains a relatively high amount of natural fats, primarily omega-6. This is a beneficial fat that helps lower bad cholesterol if consumed correctly. However, omega-6 is also very prone to oxidation if exposed to high temperatures, humidity, and light for extended periods. When oxidation occurs, the fats become rancid and produce lipid peroxides, a type of inflammatory and mildly toxic substance for the intestinal lining. This makes older adults more susceptible to bloating, heartburn, and even digestive upset after eating. Many people don't realize this because the signs of spoiled oatmeal aren't always obvious. Sometimes it's just a slight burnt smell, a slightly different taste, or a scratchy throat sensation when eating. But if you notice recurring digestive discomfort after your morning oatmeal, the culprit might just be that container of oats left near the stove from last month. So what's the solution? It's very simple, but it needs to be done consistently. Here are the principles for proper oatmeal storage, especially useful for older adults. Always store oatmeal in an airtight glass jar or plastic container with a secure lid. Avoid leaving oatmeal in its original opened packaging, because after just 5 to 7 days, humidity and air will start to damage the natural oils in the oatmeal. Place the oatmeal container in a cool, dry place away from direct sunlight. In hot and humid climates like summer in Florida or California, consider storing it in the refrigerator, especially if you buy oatmeal in bulk. Use within 2 to 3 months after opening the bag. Even if the expiration date on the package is far off, once opened, oatmeal is exposed to air and gradually oxidizes over time. Do not mix with other types of nuts in the same container unless you plan to use them all within 1 to 2 weeks. Because nuts, walnuts, almonds, chia seeds have a higher oil content than oatmeal and also go rancid easily, they can accelerate each other's oxidation process. Smell and taste lightly if it's been stored for a long time. If the oatmeal has a slight sour smell, burnt odor, or strange taste, do not try to use it. Discard it and open a new bag. A small tip for a delicious breakfast is that you can lightly toast oatmeal for 2 to 3 minutes in a dry pan before cooking or preparing overnight oats. This not only gently removes moisture, but also helps release its characteristic nutty aroma, while also slowing down the oxidation process if you plan to store it for another 1 to 2 weeks. After going through 7 common mistakes, you've probably realized eating oatmeal isn't just about adding hot water to a bowl and eating. Especially for people aged 60 and over, when the body absorbs more slowly, is more prone to bloating, and needs more nutrients to maintain muscle mass, bone density, and digestive health. How you choose your oatmeal, how you cook it, what you eat it with, and how you store it will determine the overall effectiveness of this meal. So let's recap the key principles. Like a small handbook you can remember for every breakfast. Don't choose sugary and flavored varieties. Start with plain whole oats, like rolled oats or steel-cut oats. Then add flavor with fresh fruit, cinnamon, or a little honey. Don't let oatmeal be lonely. Combine it with protein and healthy fats like Greek yogurt, nut butter, hard-boiled eggs to keep blood sugar stable and support muscles. Don't eat it raw or undercooked. Soak it for at least 6 hours or cook it thoroughly to reduce phytic acid and increase zinc, iron, and calcium absorption. Don't eat too much at once. For less active individuals, 1/3 to a half cup of dry oats is enough. For the rest, invest in nutrient-rich toppings. Don't forget to drink water. After your oatmeal meal, drink 1 to 2 glasses of warm water to prevent constipation caused by water-absorbing beta-glucan. Don't be confused about gluten. If you have gut issues, choose products explicitly labeled certified gluten-free from reputable brands. Don't store it haphazardly. Keep oatmeal in an airtight container in a cool place and consume it within 2-3 months after opening to avoid rancidity and indigestion. When you follow these guidelines, oatmeal will no longer be a bland meal, but an innovative and effective part of a healthy diet, supporting your heart, stabilizing blood sugar, improving cholesterol, and nourishing your small intestine in the most natural and safe way. Oatmeal, seemingly simple, is actually a small test of self-understanding, understanding your body, your age, and how to eat correctly. After 60, health is no longer just about eating enough or eating clean, but about eating in a way that your body can absorb, utilize, and feel comfortable after every meal. So every time you pick up a bag of oatmeal, ask yourself, am I choosing this for my health or for temporary convenience? And if you've ever felt tired of oatmeal, it might be because you haven't truly understood how to befriend it. With a few small adjustments, changing the type, adding toppings, soaking it right, eating the right amount, oatmeal will become a refined breakfast, gentle on the stomach, warming, and subtly nourishing your heart, blood vessels, and even your memory every day. If you have your own secrets or cooking methods that make oatmeal more interesting, please share them in the comments. And remember, just do it right, and oatmeal will be a food you always want to come back to, not something you have to force yourself to endure. See you in the next share, where every meal is an opportunity to live healthier, happier,